Check out Noah Bryant's amazing transformation. We'll put his information at the bottom of the video. So if you want to get in contact with him for dieting, coaching, or anything like that, I think he's the best. I refer people to him. And even though he's my brother, I've absolutely no loyalty when it comes to training. I'm a complete agnostic. The only thing I care about is getting results, not trying to subscribe to a certain dogma or anything like that. So here we go in his chest development. He actually had very poor chest development, believe it or not. I think part of it was because he's always trained so explosively, never controlled eccentric. It's always about moving the weight from point A to point B as explosively as possible. So there wasn't that real prolonged time under tension that develops massive hypertrophy in the good old chesticles. So now we got that fixed here. We're starting off with a giant set. So what it starts off is a plyometric push-up, and he's doing that as explosively as possible. That's the activation. Next we go he's going about a 3-second eccentric there, on the dumbbell bench presses. Really trying to, so the idea there is muscle and tension on the way down. You want to feel the chest doing the work. Then on the way up, he does how he's traditionally done it, moving it from point A to point B as explosively as possible. So that if you want to try this, you feel it the way down, control the negative, and bust up explosively that concentric point A to point B as explosively as possible. So for the push-ups, so you want to go as high as you can. He's doing it for 3 reps, followed by the dumbbell bench presses. He went 150s on the first, on 3 giant sets, then 140s and 130s, 8 reps first set, 7 reps and 6 reps, then 45 reps on the pullover. So the thing is, a lot of people, are wondering about pullovers. A lot of people don't do them anymore, and that's kind of sad, because Arnold Schwarzenegger was quoted as saying, "You will not believe the ache in the sternum that this movement will produce. It literally forces your chest apart and forces it into new growth." So these are strong words from one of the best built chests of all time. The pullover was a favorite move of many of the greatest bodybuilders of the golden era. This included, of course, Arnold, Reg Park, and Franco Columbu. This exercise not only works the chest, but also works the lats, intercostals, and the stratus anterior, the muscles of the rib cage. So maximally develop the intercostal muscles are going to give you illusion of a bigger rib cage. So when you take a deep breath and you're holding a chest pose, you're holding a pose, it's because your ribs are pulled up, and it's going to give you the illusion of a lot bigger chest. So modern chests seem to be lagging behind those of the classic physiques, and I feel like this is a large part because people aren't using the pullover like they used to. Okay, so now I'll get off the soapbox and let's get back to the workout here. So we did 3 of these giant sets here. So again, the idea with anything, you can apply this to any muscle group or sequence here. You do an activation, things like being isometric, plyometric, whatever. You do something in the traditional hypertrophy range. So he's going there, obviously, especially when you include the negative there. And then you go a very high rep metabolic movement, which is the high rep pullovers. That's 45 reps on the pullovers, getting a very good stretch. And that's how you got it. That's how you get the giant set. It's similar to what Fred Hatfield did with his ABC bodybuilding training on the C workouts. However, the C workouts was more of a maximal eccentric than an activation. So that's what the difference is. But the rep scheme is very, very similar. Getting a good stretch here. And on these pullovers, he's doing a good job of making the chest feel to do the work. So you want to have the good muscle and tension actually making your chest do the work here. And sometimes I'm going to show in a future video is with some people, I actually will do these with bands. It wouldn't be with this high a rep here where we attach a band to the pullover. Because with the pullover like this, you could, and it's light like this, he could make it where he's just kind of using momentum to go swing the weight through the range of motion. And that's, I'm sure how most people at 24-hour fitness with subpar physiques do it. But if you want to build chest to the next level like he's done, you're gonna have to really work on feeling that movement. So if you don't feel it, you got to kill it. You got to stop that set and make sure you're actually feeling the chest do the work. So before we were hitting chest pretty hard twice a week. Now he's still doing it twice a week, but the second day's, much easier, and because it's come up so much. And now the main focus, like he showed you last time, has been on his legs, where we're hitting that really hard twice a week, getting a good stretch here. Training at, out in California, nice weather out here in the sun. And there's something kind of special and magical about outdoor training if you've never done it before. And 3 giant sets here, looking solid. And almost done here. So we're actually showing this in real time. Again, look how explosive is up. Even that fatigued, look how explosive it is. So the idea here, he's recruiting a whole spectrum of muscle fibers. Obviously, when he's doing those explosive push-ups with maximum force like that, he's going to recruit the most fast twitch muscle fibers. And then by the end, when he's doing the very high reps, obviously it's going to be the slower twitch muscle fibers. So the idea on these maximal days is to fatigue all the fibers. Everything from the highest threshold motor units to the slow twitch fibers, because that's what's going to get the ultimate growth there. And you can see on the way down on the negative, he's doing a good job of actually like feeling the chest do the work, because you can actually see the contraction take place. It's not a thing of using momentum from point A to point B. So this is a total metamorphosis in his training style, and with somebody like this, it's going to be very important to really increase the time under tension, because he's already so explosive, but at the same time, we don't want to take that away from him too. So getting a good stretch here. You can see his chest working on the way up, looking very solid here. These are not easy workouts at all, obviously. If you're looking for the path of the least resistance, I suggest you either just watch and enjoy it for entertainment's sake, but definitely don't try this. This is the path of most resistance. This transformation is 100% natural too. There's no condemnation of drug use here. If you want to do that, I just hope you do it safely and see a doctor. But this is 100% natural. It's important to note that, because a lot of times when people are not using any performance enhancing substances, they'll make an excuse to do some, just some sort of weak workout instead of, you're going to have to, if you got your nutrition and stuff in order, you're going to have to work very, very, very hard if you want to build a physique like this, naturally. So good finish here, and it's going to be important to, you can't subscribe to one style of training if you're building a physique naturally like that. So we're on to dips now, okay? So the dips, he's going 65 pounds for 10 sets of 10, getting a little bit of a forward lean there to really emphasize the work on his chest. And these dips have helped, these dips have helped obviously bring up his chest, because it's made huge improvements. So, in recent times, a lot of kind of pseudo non-degreed physical therapists that have sort of moonlighted themselves as strength coaches have relentlessly tried to hijack this one of the greatest strength movements of all time. And this cabal has worked very hard to try to eradicate this movement from serious muscle building and strength training regimes. Fortunately, though, it's kind of made a resurgence, and I think you've seen a lot of people that have set world records in bench presses. And then in bodybuilding, the most massive physiques have used these. So, even for tricep development, in Per Tesch's book, Targeted Bodybuilding, dips were the only compound movement that maximally taxed all 3 heads of the triceps. And this isn't according to Josh, this is according to MRI. It's done on the triceps. So, obviously dips are not going to be for the old geezer with a shoulder replacement. But if you're perfectly healthy and you have serious goals, this is what traditionalists have touted as the upper body squat. This can be, this can be sort of an arrogant dismissal of the proven basics by people, but dips, as I said before, have built some of the strongest, most muscular physiques in a whole wide range of goals. Bodybuilding, for a piece of history here, bodybuilding guru Vince Gironda claimed that dips are the granddaddy chest exercise. And to maximize it for chest development, as you can see he's doing there, you want a slight forward lean. If you start doing more upright dips and really hold them at the top, it's going to be more of a tricep movement. Obviously, you can't isolate them. And then, unlike push-ups, even where the ground assistance stabilization, weighted dips are going to force you you to use your upper body to stabilize the load. We get some back work in there too. You can see what he's doing, but a little more about dips. Pat Casey was the first man to bench press 600 pounds, and he had weighted dips at the core of his program. As a another huge bonus, heavy dips can also help your performance on overhead dips. Or an overhead press, when I won the strongest man in America and set a new record in the overhead press in 2005, I was kind of plateaued. I threw dips back in the back in the routine, and in Vouloir there was the rest is history sort of thing. So athletes with shoulder or elbow problems may even find that dips are a good substitute for bench pressing. Obviously, some people it won't feel right. But anyways, there's a lot of good reason you can do dips in your program there. The band resistant incline flies here. So what this does is, obviously, as he squeezes the dumbbells together, normally you want to touch the dumbbells together because you'd be using momentum instead of the musculature of the pecs to bring them together. But when you put the band on there, what it does is it pulls tighter, so you must squeeze harder. And remember, this is not a press. This is not an extension, and don't make this into some sort of bastardized press. You need to make sure this is a giant squeeze, filling your chest, do all the work. If you don't, it's useless. Okay, and these bands kind of complement. I've used these with people, Johnny Jackson, Branch Warren, Noah likes them. They're very, very great movement here, squeezing together. Obviously, some people get so dogmatic, want to use just dumbbells or just bands, but you can combine the two and get something great out of it. So on these, again, you can touch the dumbbells together because the band is pulling together. And make sure to follow Noah, and if you're interested in his diet programs, again, as I said before, I'll put a link at the bottom.